Now that the Atlantic had been conquered, it was time to circle the world. Wiley Post was the personal pilot of oilman F.C. Hall. Post flew his Lockheed 5C Vega, the Winnie Mae, named after the oilman's daughter. After Post read about the Graf Zeppelin circling the world in 21 days, he knew he wanted to break the record, and he wanted to do it by plane. On June 23, 1931, Wiley Post and his navigator Harold Gatty lifted off from Roosevelt Field, New York, and set a course for Newfoundland. From there, they flew to England and then to Berlin, across Russia to Alaska, and finally touching back down at Roosevelt Field. It took the Winnie Mae just 8 days, 15 hours, and 51 minutes to complete the journey. But Wiley Post was not content. 2 years later, he flew the Winnie Mae solo, repeating his trip, this time with fewer stops. He broke his old record by completing the journey in 7 days, 18 hours, and 49 minutes. Known to many as the First Lady of the Air, Amelia Earhart was a woman of great determination and spirit. While working as a nurse and social worker in Canada at the end of World War I, Earhart took her first flight in an open cockpit biplane, the Flying Bug at Bitter. Soon she was taking lessons and bought herself a small plane. By 1922, she had set the unofficial women's altitude record at 14,000 feet. On May 20th, 1932, Amelia took off from Newfoundland on the first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean by a woman. It was a turbulent flight, and she was forced to land in a pasture in Northern Ireland. She had traveled 2,026 miles in 14 hours and 54 minutes. Amelia had just set a non-stop distance record for women and another record for the shortest flying time across the Atlantic. On her return to America, she was hailed as a hero and was dubbed Lady Lindy after Charles Lindbergh. Throughout the 1930s, she continued to set new flying records. On June 1st, 1937, Amelia and her navigator, Fred Noonan, took off from Miami on a flight that would take them around the world. They had traveled over 22,000 miles when on July 2nd, her plane disappeared after taking off from New Guinea. Neither the crew nor the plane was ever found. Since her mysterious disappearance, Amelia Earhart has taken her place as a true pioneer in aviation and in the annals of American folklore. The millionaire Howard Hughes was another famed aviator of the Golden Age. On September 13, 1935, Hughes' aircraft, the H-1, set a world speed record of over 352 miles per hour. 2 years later, he would break the transcontinental speed record by traveling from Los Angeles to New Jersey in 7 hours, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds. He traveled the 2,490-mile course at an average speed of 332 miles per hour. On December 17, 1935, the Douglas Sleeper transport made its maiden flight. It's better known today as the DC-3, and it is considered the most successful and longest-lived aircraft ever made. The DC-3 revolutionized commercial travel, and by 1938 it provided 95% of the United States domestic flights. The following year, it accounted for 90% of the world's airline traffic. The DC-3 would prove its mettle during World War II, becoming a mainstay of Allied transport squadrons. The DC-3 is still in service today in over 40 nations. During this golden age of aviation, 2 lighter-than-air, hydrogen-filled dirigibles gained notoriety. The first was the Graf Zeppelin, later to be followed by the Hindenburg. It was the success of these 2 giant airships that kept lighter-than-air travel alive. Passengers paid $720 apiece for a round-trip ticket between Germany and the United States, traveling in luxurious comfort at 78 miles per hour. Unfortunately, the Zeppelin era came to a catastrophic end on May 6, 1937, when the Hindenburg burst into flames while attempting to land in Lakehurst, New Jersey. 35 of its 96 passengers and crew were killed. Many others were severely burned. Only smaller blimps using helium are in use today. The golden age of aviation was over, and a new era of flight was about to begin.